Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday. And I'm just going to give a few short moments to let all of my attendees log on. But Heidi Ho, happy to see everybody. I am a speaker without an audience. And so I've turned to LinkedIn specifically to help people because I miss people very, very much. I miss live audiences. You know how some people fear live audiences? I fear not having live audiences. I am very sad when I'm not accessing people to help them live better and longer. And so I see you joining me. And I encourage you to use the comments section today to make comments. Hopefully they're nice comments. If not, I'm a sturdy girl. I can handle it. But if you have questions and you would like to talk about anything, especially within the realm of achieving your ideal weight, just go for it. I can see them here, and some of them I'll pull up live as we have this conversation. But I'm going to giddy up because I know y'all are busy and you've got things to do. And so this is valuable information that will change your life with the exact formula for weight loss. I will demystify weight loss, and it's very interesting to me how such a simple, stupid concept has been butchered 50,000 ways. So now people are actually really confused on how to lose weight the proper way, how to keep it off. And fortunately, it's far more understandable and easy than it sounds. So just a quick bio on me. Fitz Koehler. I have a master's degree in exercise and sports sciences. I've been teaching for decades, about 30 years around the world. I've worked on the biggest stages for the biggest companies: Disney, Tropicana, Oakley, Office Depot, Moffitt Cancer Center, M.S.E.S.S, you name it. And the reason these big companies bring me in is because they trust me. I am highly experienced, highly educated, and I've got all the credentials, but more importantly, I've never sold out. I've never lied to people. So you've never seen me sell a pill or a powder or a shake or a supplement or any of those stupid wraps. I just don't do it. And I've had millions of dollars thrown at me, but I care too much about you. I care far more about you than I do my bank account. So I promise all the information I share with you is verifiable, based on science, as it should be. And the good news with the exact formula for weight loss is it's incredibly understandable and attainable. I have tens and tens of thousands of people who have used the exact formula for weight loss to take it off and keep it off. And, you know, being overweight is not good for your health in any category. And so interesting how with our culture the way it is, people glamorize people of all sizes. And I get it. There are some very, very beautiful women of a high weight and some very handsome men of a high weight. I'm never talking about appearance. Your appearance is your problem, your concern. I don't care what you look like in a swimsuit. It's not my problem. What I care about is that you live long and you live well. And being of ideal weight can make that happen because, quite frankly, our joints just can't handle the load when we're far too overweight. Our heart and our lungs can't handle the load. Our organs were not designed to be wrapped in fat. And so it's not about the way you look, at least not to me. I mean, if you've got a big swimsuit photo shoot coming up and you want to look your best, fine. The majority of real people don't have those obstacles. So we'll talk nuts and bolts. The real way to get fit for fitness sake, for health, for happiness, and to be pain-free, which I think is a really, really important thing to strive for. And so, hi, Steve Childers. I see Steve. Steve is in Tennessee. Are you in Tennessee or Virginia? I think I've forgotten. I think you're in Virginia, Wise. And he's such a great guy. He actually is with cardio and respiratory rehab. And I think the world of Steve. So I'm glad you're here. I miss you. So the exact formula for weight loss, what the heck is that? Well, I'm going to start by telling you that it is not a diet. It is not a powder, a pill, a supplement. It does not require any of those silly wraps. It does not require you to swear off any particular food for the rest of your life. It does not require you to stand on your head or suffer or quit. And so that's the difference. That's the difference there. Is this is long-term success with a healthy body and healthy insides. And the other stuff is providing short-term. And so any diets are short-term measures that lead to short-term results. And that's including keto, that's including intermittent fasting. All the people think they're so smart and, oh, but it's this. Well, you know what? We do fast every single day. And then we wake up and we have a thing called breakfast, which is breaking the fast because we were fasting all those hours while we were asleep. And now when you are choosing to move your body, you need to fuel your body and give it good motivation to go. And so diets in general, bad news and ineffective. And I'll throw two things at you that will hopefully allow you to wrap your head around the fact that diets are dumb. Number one, if there was a diet or a magic pill that existed, something where you could go to the nutrition store and buy the pill and then you'd get to your ideal weight, Oprah Winfrey would have it. Oprah Winfrey has everything in the world she wants, except for that lean, hard, athletic body. And why? Because it doesn't come in pill form. It requires discipline and math. And so far, she's yet to attain those things. I love Oprah. Got nothing wrong with Oprah. But I think the only thing left that she wants is that lean, fit body. And she's yet to attain it because you can't buy it. You just can't buy it. Even if you go to a plastic surgeon and he removes it, if you don't have the good quality eating habits to go with it, you gain it all back. It's almost like people who win the lottery, people that were in major debt, they win the lottery. That doesn't solve their financial problems because they're still bad with money. And then they end up right back in debt. And so achieving your ideal weight actually requires some smarts, some science, some math, some discipline. And then the other thing is that if you look back at the statues of the ancient Romans and Greeks and how ripped they were, right? We have these macho men holding things, looking fit. They didn't have some sort of nutrition store on the corner. What did they do? Well, they ate goats and cows and chickens. They ate off the land, a lot of produce, and they lugged stones for a living. They were active and they didn't eat a lot of processed foods, and they certainly didn't overeat. And so keep those things in mind anytime your neighbor who, I don't know, is a bus driver for a living comes over and wants to sell you some nutritional products. You should be able to say, no, bus driver, I don't trust you with this. You're not qualified and I don't need your products to lose weight. There's really nothing that you need outside of your own grocery store or garden or farm. Makes sense? I hope it does. I hope it does. If nothing else, I think the most important thing I need to do is steer you away from the snake oil and the lies, because you work really hard for your money and there's too many people trying to take it. And this has been a hard year on a lot of us without work. And so the idea that you would give $50 a month to someone for some sort of magic powder like the magic beans breaks my heart and really makes me angry. It makes me want to strangle the people that are selling that stuff. But that's for a different day. And I will talk about that because I am not beloved by the snake oil salesman. In fact, the snake oil salesmen hate my guts because I ruin their day, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so let's go to the exact formula for weight loss. And so this is going to be the thing that allows you to figure out exactly how many calories per day you personally should be consuming to get to your goal weight. And on occasion we see everyone should have 1,200 calories a day, or everyone should have 2,000 calories a day. Well, P.S. if I ate 2,000 calories a day, I would be 200 pounds. And if The Rock, that's right, Dwayne Johnson, were eating 1,200 calories a day, he would murder somebody because that is totally not enough food for him. So we all require our own personalized, customized budget, and that's what I'm going to teach you. So it's important to know that on average, the human body burns about 10 calories per pound of body weight per day. And included in that is just your basic activities. Your body is always burning calories to go through its basic functions. So pumping blood, processing oxygen, digesting food, thinking, it all burns calories. So just even sitting there sleeping or lying there sleeping, you are burning calories. Now, if you put that in your activities of waking up, going to take a shower, taking the trash out, walking the dog, doing errands, grocery shopping, you're burning extra calories. So they say on average about 10 per pound of body weight per day. So sticking with round numbers, if you weigh 200 pounds and you are not gaining weight or losing weight, we can assume that you are consuming about 2,000 calories per day. And that's why you're eating out, because at 200 pounds, you burn 2,000 calories a day. You just put a zero on it. On the end, it's 200 times 10 equals 2,000. And so here, I'm going old school with paper because I like these visuals, and sometimes sharing my screen goes awry. So look right here. If you weigh 200 pounds, burn 10 calories per day, you're burning about 2,000 calories. So if you're staying there, not gaining weight or losing weight, we know that's what you're intaking. And our calories consumed is both edible and your beverages. It's right there. That makes sense. And this is only for a 200-pound person. If you eat more, you gain. If you eat less, you lose. Simple, simple math. So if you are a 200-pound person, but you want to weigh 150 calories, all you have to do is start eating like a 150-pound person. You eat to sustain the weight that you would like to be. And so a 150-pound person eats 1,500 calories to sustain this weight. Does that make sense to you? I hope it does. Please, again, feel free to use the comment section, the likes. If you understand this, you're like, yes. If you think it doesn't make any sense, put the thumbs down and I'll respond. All right, so 200 pounds, you want to weigh 150. This is your new caloric budget. Now, if you do this, you are going to have a deficit of 500 calories a day because your body is still burning 2,000 calories every day. You're just giving it 1,500 and it's burned 2,000. So now you have a deficit of 500 calories. Now it takes 3,500 extra calories to gain a pound, or you need to create a 3,500 calorie deficit to lose a pound. Does that make sense? So with this formula going from 200 to 150 pounds, if you stick to that 150 calorie a day budget, or 1,500 calorie a day budget, sorry, not 150, you will lose 1 pound in 7 days. Get it? Yes, it's simple math. Look at that, 1 pound every 7 days. Now, that is just focusing in on your eating habits. What happens if you exercise? And again, that 10 calories per pound of body weight per day does not include exercise. What happens if you decide to be a guy who walks a 5K every day? Maybe you're going to burn 500 calories. And so if you create that caloric deficit with your food, and then you burn 500 calories a day doing exercise, whether you like to dance or swim, lift weights, wrestle with the kids, whatever. Now, instead of losing 1 pound every 7 days, you'll lose 1 pound every 3.5 days. And that's how it works. That's the math part. So I hope you understand that. I think you are, if you were smart enough to create a LinkedIn account or Facebook where we're also broadcasting, I think you can understand that. But your goal weight, all you have to do is put a zero on the end, and that's your new caloric budget. So say you want to weigh 134 pounds. Your caloric budget is 1,340. Say you want to weigh 302 pounds. Your caloric budget is now 3,020 calories. Does that make sense? I hope that does. So that's customizable for you and your size. And going generic with the human body just rarely works. And even someone my own size, so I am 5'5.5", and right now I weigh about 118. I'm down from the chemo and stuff. I'm working on putting on weight, but me at 118 and 5'5" is very different than someone at 5 feet tall and 118 pounds, and even more different than someone who's 6 feet tall and 118 pounds. You know, we have very different things going on, and not everyone wants to lose weight. So here's the deal. I checked out a lot of your bios for the attendees, the people that look like they were going to join this workshop. Not everyone needs to lose weight. And so this exact formula for weight loss also can become the exact formula for weight maintenance. Okay, so for me, if I'm happy at 118 pounds, my caloric budget is 1,180. It's today. It's also my caloric budget in 10 years. in 20 years, in 50 years. If you want to be 175 pounds and you want to stay there, 1,750 calories for the rest of your life. And that's why this is not a diet. We're giving you parameters, but not changing them up all over the place. You know what I'm saying? If you go on a diet, it's like no sugar for the next 3 weeks. And then what? You go back to eating lots of sugar? Or we're not going to have any white stuff. I mean, this is not temporary. Okay, I'm looking to lose fat, not muscle. Good, Mary. That's actually great. Yeah, you can lose fat, not muscle, by eating wisely, lifting weights. So yeah, if you're taking a dramatic loss, you're going to lose 50 pounds. There's a slight chance you might lose some muscle in the process just because you're losing so much weight. But if you're fine tuning and you're hitting the weights and consuming enough protein, no problem there. And for the most part, carnivores, if you're a carnivore, you're consuming enough protein. If you're worried about it, add some nuts and beans. But for the most part, carnivores are getting enough protein. I bet most of my money on it. Okay, so here's the other thing. It's not just about calories. Now, can you lose weight and get to your ideal weight just managing your calories? Absolutely. But the other thing most important is nutrition. Fueling your body with things that are good for it, getting enough vitamins and minerals and nutrition that helps your body go, makes your brain function better, makes you more likely to fight disease. And so I always say there's the smart way to do the exact formula, and then there's the dumb way. And so I'm going to start with the dumb way. The dumb way to do 1,500 calories, we're just going to stick with that number right now because it's round. The dumb way to do 1,500 calories is to wake up, run over to your favorite coffee shop, get a grande something latte with caramel and whipped cream, and you're also going to get a bagel with cream cheese. And those two things right there are 1,500 calories. Now, if you wake up every single day for the next 6 months and you have those two things and you have nothing else for the rest of the day, will you lose weight? Absolutely. Absolutely. However, this is the reality of the situation is when you get up and you make such poor choices, you get a very calorie dense drink without almost any nutrition in it. And then you get a bagel that's mediocre on nutrition based on whatever kind of bagel you get. You're going to get hungry really fast. You know, the things that fill us up are fiber and protein. Fiber naturally comes from produce. You know, fruits and veggies are filled with fiber, and that's why we get filled up with a big apple or a small bowl of broccoli. Protein is also very filling. So nuts, beans, meats, your choice. Sorry, I just had a passerby who made me lose my train of thought. So I'm sorry. Okay, but back to the smart thing. Now I remember where I was. So if you eat this 1,500 calories worth of food and nothing else, you will lose weight. But by the time you get to noon that day, you're going to have a headache, you're going to be hungry, and you're going to start suffering. And then by the time you get to 1 p.m. that day, you're going to be miserable and you're going to quit. And that's why the dumb way doesn't work, is because even if your intentions were good and you thought, okay, I've got 1,500 calories, I'm just going to eat them all this morning. By the time you get to 3, your body screams for help and you consume more, right? And maybe you're consuming healthy food, maybe you're consuming unhealthy food, but either way, you've gone over your caloric budget and you're not going to lose that weight. And so instead of the dumb way of filling in your calories, what I want you to do is the smart way of filling in your caloric budget. And that will be done with lots of produce, lean protein sources, starchy carbohydrates that are brown, ideally brown. We go to quinoas and brown rice and whole grain breads, low-fat dairy products if you choose. Now, not everyone can handle dairy products, and that's fine. And that's why almond milk is such a hit right now, and there's so many other great choices. But the majority of your calories should come from things that grew from the ground and your mom told you were healthy for you, or your kindergarten teacher. I mean, it's not complicated. We could go through almost any aisle in the grocery store and I could tell you, I could ask you healthy, unhealthy, and you probably would make a pretty good guess. We want things that are low in sugar, low in hydrogenated oils, low in saturated fat. And again, things that grew from the ground. Now, I'm a produce junkie. I love fruit, and that's really good for me. And I grew up in Florida, and we have oranges everywhere, which is great. However, you don't have to have great access to fresh, affordable produce for this to work for you. Why? Because fruit that is flash frozen, fruit and vegetables that are flash frozen, the stuff sitting in the produce department or the free frozen food section that is often on sale, that stuff is often more nutritious than the raw produce. And why? Because as soon as it was frozen, its nutrients were frozen as well. And so you don't lose nutrition on a frozen product while it's in transport. If you have tangerines, they grow out of the ground, and then they're picked, they're put in the truck, and then they got to drive to, a few hours north to go to the store, and then you get them off the shelf and then you bring them home. It's losing nutrition along the way. And so sometimes we think it has to be raw. It has to be, just from that shelf in the grocery store or farmer's market. Not true. You may actually get something that's more affordable and longer lasting if you go to the frozen food section. I'm also a huge fan of canned and preserved peaches in the little plastic cups. Dole. I don't work for Dole. Dole should hire me, or someone like Dole. But the reality is they make a great product that's, individually packed and ready to go. And so what I want you to do is fill about 85 to 90% of your caloric budget with really nutritious, healthy stuff that you're proud of. And then the other 10 to 15% of your calories should be fun, if that's what you choose. And so it's really up to you. You manage your caloric budget throughout the day. And for me, I always, always, always include milk chocolate in my day, every day, not even dark chocolate. I go straight for the milk chocolate, and I don't feel bad about it because the other 85% of my choices are really, really good. So I have wiggle room. And then sometimes my wiggle room is French fries, or I don't know, what do I have on a rare occasion? I have half a beer. Woo, I know I'm crazy. But you should be able to make those decisions that work for you. There's absolutely, the only thing I think people should cut out is, for ethical reasons, animals. If that is your ethical decision and you remove animals, fine. But I don't think anyone should say you should never have white flour again. Really? Obviously it's not healthy for you, but I think it's just outrageous for anyone to suggest someone never have a slice of pizza again. And I don't think being rigid helps. I think if you have your caloric budget, I know that if you have your caloric budget and you get used to managing it, you will be able to include all of the foods that you like, all the flavors and the textures that you enjoy in a much smarter way. And so, for example, if you like Japanese food, you like the grilled broccoli and carrots and mushrooms and onions, fine, just don't cook them in a bunch of oil. Just grill them in a pan with some water. You add your soy sauce. Boom, they're Japanese. If you really love Italian food, fine, let's figure out how to do spaghetti squash, which is really easy to make and very similar to regular pasta. And if you add your marinara sauce and a little bit of Parmesan, boom, you've got your Italian food for far fewer calories. And so it's about playing with it, testing it out. And so how are you going to manage these calories? Well, you manage these calories using a calorie counting app. Now, you can go old school with pen and paper, and I've got nothing against that, because actually that's how I did it. I used to be 45 pounds less about my freshman year of college. And there wasn't a Fitz Koehler out there teaching people how to eat wisely. There was a bunch of lunatics screaming about diets, and they were screaming at the television as if I would be more convinced and more successful because they were screaming. Thankfully, I went and got the college education in exercise and sports sciences, and I love the human body, and I was interested in nutrition, and that's how I learned how our body works and how to feed it wisely. But yeah, I had to figure out how to do healthy food. I was using a pen and paper. Now we have apps. We have apps that do it all. Across the board, hands down, the favorite app of almost everybody that I work with is MyFitnessPal. I believe it's free to use, and you could literally wake up and say, I ate one whole wheat Thomas's English muffin with 2 tablespoons of grape jelly, and it will do the math for you. And then you can say, I had, ham quiche for lunch, and it was this size, and it will do the math for you. And the gist is you poke in everything you consume and drink throughout the day, and eventually it'll cut you off. It'll say, okay, you've hit your caloric budget, 1,720 calories, you're done for the day. And then you should be done. That's when you exert real restraint, right? You have to poke in everything, all your meals, all your snacks. If you walk by your coworker's desk and you grab a mint or a Hershey Kiss, all of that goes in there because all of it counts. And this doesn't mean that you're neurotic and you're crazy. You're someone who's paying attention. And I don't think people that are trying to get out of debt, who are watching the amount of money they do or don't spend, I don't think they're being neurotic. I think they're being responsible. And so this caloric budget, along with a calorie counting app, will really make your life easier. And I still do it. Golly, I've been at my ideal weight 20 something years. And by noon every day, I know how many calories I've consumed. And at dinner, I do the math as well. I do it in my head right now. But that doesn't mean I couldn't jump back in and log it with calories. I think someone needs to truly log their calories with an app or pen and paper for a very long time, because portions can be tricky. So maybe someone says, a portion of Cheetos is 150 calories. Okay, well, what is an exact portion? How do you know? And many people go to a food scale, and I think that's a really good choice. And so many people have their eyes opened and are really surprised by how much they were truly eating before they got the food scale. In fact, one of my fitness followers I work with, Anna, she had told me that she was having a bowl of cereal. Well, her bowl of cereal was closer to 3.5 servings of cereal. So getting that full scale food scale goes a long way and will really help you make progress. Again, if you're using your caloric budget going from 200 pounds to 150 pounds, that 500 calorie a day deficit, you lose 1 pound a week. You add 500 calories worth of exercise, you've lost 2 pounds a week, which is nice. So I have some questions that I've gathered from you all since I published this workshop, and I'm going to answer them. If you have any questions while I'm going along, please just use the comment section. They pop up for me, and I'd be happy to share. Okay, so first question is, when I lose weight, can I go back to eating more calories? Only if you want to go back to being a big person, right? You are choosing what weight you want to be, and along with it comes that almost fixed caloric budget. So I definitely don't think so. The only time you would dramatically increase your caloric budget would be if you're training for something, a high endurance sport, and all of a sudden you've gone from doing Zumba classes once a day to running for 3 hours a day. At that point, you can add some more calories. Or if you decide, hey, I'm too thin, I want to be a little heavier, then you could add more calories back in. But yeah, there's really no reason to change your caloric budget. Once you choose it, when you get there, that's the thing. So say you go from 200 pounds to 150 pounds. When you get to 150 pounds, that's when the real fun starts. That's why I call it the Michelangelo stage, where you get to start really being the sculptor. I want my shoulders a little bit bigger. I want my biceps a little more pronounced, or my waistline a little firmer. So, and that of course comes with exercise, which is a completely different subject. But know this, that you cannot outrun reckless eating. And so I work in the running industry, and I have hordes and hordes of wonderful people who run marathons and half marathons almost every week of the year. And many of them are still very overweight because they haven't managed their intake yet. They're doing so much hard work when it comes to exercise, but you cannot run off reckless eating. So don't think, I don't need a caloric budget because I exercise. It just doesn't work that way. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so your caloric budget is there to stay unless you choose that you want to become a bigger person. What about the 1,200 calorie a day message you've always heard? Well, that's, again, absurd. That's how many calories I should be consuming. Your uncle, your grandpa, your tall woman friend, she probably should not be having 1,200 calories a day only. I think our caloric budgets, or I know our caloric budgets, are very individualized. And so anyone that's spewing that at you, you need to stiff arm and go the other way. As well, if you log into MyFitnessPal and you use the app may tell you that your caloric budget is different than I'm giving you right now. Just ignore it. I have no idea what hokey fanokey person is back there telling, 100 people who want to be 120 pounds that they need to eat 2,300 calories. It's just hogwash. So you stick with your caloric budget. Only utilize those calorie counting apps for calorie counting, and that's it. Ignore any advice it gives you. How do I keep track of calories? Well, we just went over that. Do I have to count calories forever? The answer is yes. However, it becomes so much easier. Again, I've been my ideal weight for 25 years. And it's a simple thing that I do. I just keep track of the food I'm eating. I overestimate as well. So I have, I like Kind bars. It's, again, I'm not sponsored by Kind, but I have one almost every morning, a Kind bar and then tangerine and a banana. But the Kind bar says it's 190 calories. I always estimate up and I just say it's 200 calories. And I do simple math right there. I know my small tangerines are about 50. My banana is about 100. So I do it in here. But when you're first starting out and really working on fine tuning your body, I would absolutely pen and paper or use the app. Can I splurge? Well, absolutely. Absolutely. There are going to be times where you go to a party or you just make something you're in love with and fine, you're grown-ups. You should be able to make a good decision for yourself. Splurging is different than being reckless, right? The people that are like, I went on a cruise and I came back 5 pounds. What in God's earth were you thinking? The reality is you're never going to eat the amount you spent on a cruise. You're never going to get your money's worth at the buffet. So don't try. Maybe let's refocus our thoughts on who we are and what is fun in life by focusing things that are actually fun. And so if you go on that cruise and you go to the buffet and you get an extra plate of rice, 4 years from now, you're never going to look back and be like, remember I had that rice? You're never going to think about that. Remember I had the tiramisu? It was just the best vacation. No, what you're probably going to remember, what you're probably going to remember are the adventures you had with the people you were with. And so maybe you played Scrabble and maybe you gambled and maybe you danced the night away and maybe you went boogie boarding at the beach when you pulled off, or maybe you saw whales leap in the air because you cruised to Alaska. But, food is not designed for fun. Food is fuel. It's okay to enjoy your food. I want you to enjoy your food, but don't ever try to, don't build vacations around eating. Build vacations around adventure, learning something, doing something, spending quality time with people. I think it's mindset, and that will go a long way. So yeah, you can splurge. Oh, and here's the other thing. People ask, can I have a cheat day? Oh, for crying out loud. Again, you're grown-ups. You don't need to cheat. You just make a choice. All right, today I'm going to go over my caloric budget. I'm going to have 200 extra calories, but tomorrow I'm going to walk the dog an extra 2 miles. I'm going to make up for it. Or I'm going to have 200 extra calories at lunch today, and I'm going to have 200 less tonight. So cheat days are very juvenile, and you're too good for that. So move along from a cheat day, okay? Just make good choices, and on occasion, your meal is not going to be one that you want to bring and say, hey, Fitz, look what I ate. That's fine. You're grown-ups. What else? What if I lose too much weight? Well, hot damn, if you lose too much weight, you can eat a little more, right? You can up your caloric budget, say, hey, I don't like it being here. And that was exhibit A with me last year. I had breast cancer, not a lot of fun in my rear mirror, but I was too thin. And so I've had to work to get back up to my ideal weight. And that might happen to you. Hopefully it doesn't. Maybe it'll happen to someone you love, and you can guide them over to me and I can help them gain weight. And here's the deal. The exact formula for weight loss is also exact formula for weight management. It can also be considered exact formula for weight gain. If you're 110 pounds and you want to be 130 pounds, well, consume 1,300 calories. Eventually your body will grow. Should I add exercise? Well, absolutely you should add exercise. So here's the deal. You can lose lots of weight without exercise. And just imagine you were stranded at sea. You didn't have a bunch of food there with you, right? If you're stranded at sea with a little food, your body will shed pounds. That's a guarantee. You don't need to exercise to lose weight. When you have a stomach bug and you don't eat for a week, you lose weight, right? Yeah, so our consumption habits, I would say, are about 85% of the puzzle when it comes to weight loss. However, you cannot be fit without exercise. You cannot be strong. You cannot have great endurance, cardiorespiratory. You cannot have strong, powerful heart and lungs. You cannot be flexible or have good balance without exercise. That's the value of exercise. It breeds a fit, strong body that can do wonderful things, that is less likely to become injured. And so your eating habits truly are the biggest factor when it comes to your actual weight, but nothing can replace the value that exercise brings to the table. And so I believe my next workshop here on LinkedIn is designing your own workout. And I really want you to attend that one, because that is just as important and will change the quality of life, your quality of life, forever. So yeah, you should add exercise. And, oh, here's another one. If I add exercise, can I just reconsume those calories? Well, if you're trying to lose weight, no, please God, don't do that. It's like saying, okay, I worked overtime. I'm trying to pay off the house. I worked overtime last night and I made an extra $1,000. And now I'm going to go spend the $1,000 on some concert tickets, even though the end goal is paying off the house. If you work overtime, you take that money, or at least the majority of it, and you put it towards the house, saying that I'm eating, this is my goal, to lose 10 pounds. I've been sticking with my caloric budget, and now I have just burned an extra 500 calories at the gym. And so that could get you closer to your 10-pound weight loss goal, or you can just reconsume the calories and backtrack. Doesn't make any sense. In fact, it drives me bananas when people who are trying to lose weight, they go to the gym, and they burn 400 calories doing whatever it is they want to do, and then they walk out and they hit the smoothie bar and they get some sort of like 700 calorie, fat blaster shake. And then they leave the gym with 300 calories more than they had when they went in. They didn't accomplish anything at all other than the strength and fitness benefits. So it drives me bonkers. I'm going to show this comment right here. Steve Childers, great encouragement. Been preaching this for years to his patients, and it works so well when we follow the formula. Thank you, Steve. And I love him too. He's in charge of a cardiorespiratory rehab facility at a hospital, and he's such a smart man. I believe his degree is mine. I believe he has exercise physiology. And I just really admire Steve. But yeah, it works. And I have so many physicians around the country that share this with their patients. It's not complicated, and it's honest, it's accurate. And I think that goes a really long way. We don't have to lie to people. We don't have to play tricks. We just need to understand how the body works, have a smart game plan, and then stick to it. So yeah, if you exercise, take that as a win and don't reconsume those calories. What if I hate counting? Wow. What do you mean? What if you hate counting? Cry me a river. So if you hate counting, then use your app. And yeah, use your app. I mean, you can't tell me, well, I want to pay off my house or I want to buy a new car or whatever, but I hate counting. So I'm just going to spend recklessly. Spending recklessly is the exact equivalent of eating recklessly. At some point we have to have a budget. We have to stick to it if we want to accomplish great things financially or physically. And I do think there's a very strong link between physical and physical fitness. So if you hate counting, use the app, but also, wow. What if I hate scales? What if you want to know how tall I am? But I tell you, I hate rulers. No way are you coming near me with that thing. That ruler hates me. I always wanted to be 6 feet tall, and I'm stuck at 5'5". That ruler is going to give me bad news. Yeah, the scale is just a tool of measurement. It doesn't hate you. It doesn't love you. It's no different than a barometer or a thermometer. It's just a tool of measurement. So our weight is not the only factor. However, it's a really good gauge of progress versus not progress. So I think you should come to grips with your issue with the scale. And this is how I recommend using a scale, is that you put it in your bathroom, where most people keep the scale. I'm not giving you a weird place. And then once a week, only once, no more, no less, you go into your bathroom as soon as you wake up. Maybe you go potty. People like to do that in the morning. and then you stand on the scale naked. Then you just jot down the results, right? Maybe you're gonna log it in MyFitnessPal, or maybe you got the fancy little calorie or fitness app on your iPhone or Samsung, whatever it is. So you track it, and then you walk away, right? After learning this formula, you should get on the scale naked tomorrow, because I don't care what your clothes weigh. So just you and your body in the morning. And tomorrow is Wednesday. And so the next Wednesday, you get back on the scale and see if you're any closer to your goal. And then you get on the next week. And so what I can tell you is that people use the exact formula for weight loss and stick to it. They see pretty fantastic results pretty quickly. It's not a guarantee every time, because I don't know who you are and what your scenario is, but especially if you have a significant amount of weight to lose, you will see very exciting results week 1, week 2, week 3. It'll keep going. Now, on a rare occasion, it'll stop, right? You'll plateau for a week, and that's fine, because what we're looking for is just a downward trend, right? So we got our little graph, start up here, and eventually you get down here. If you get to one of those plateaus and you say, forget it, I'm going to eat whatever I want, well, then it's over. It's over, right? You're going to go back to where you came from. And I think that's a bad idea, because your weight and your health actually matters. It's worth sticking to it. And so sometimes our weight sticks. I don't have a good answer for that. Sometimes it's stuck because you had extra salt and you're retaining a little water. Sometimes it's because you haven't pooped. It's an ugly subject, but I have to talk about that sometimes. So if you stay the course, you'll experience that downward trend, and you will eventually get where you want to go. And I know this because over decades of doing this, I have seen many, many people use it and lose well over 100 pounds, 150 pounds. And then the large amount are the people who've lost 20 to 30 pounds to get to their ideal weight. And that's really exciting. It's all very exciting. You know, some professionals have a bunch of plaques on their wall, and I've won some plaques, but nothing feels more rewarding, and nothing makes me happier than people who are happy in their new jeans, or feel good about their body, or are starting to live a life of adventure. They do a 5K here and there. They go zip lining. They hike a mountain, whatever. I just love it. It makes me so happy when you start truly enjoying what life has to offer. Okay, so we're past I hate counting. We're past I hate scales. I wish I had one of those womp womp sound effects. What do I do when I achieve my weight loss goal? My favorite question. So what do? You stay the course, number 1. You don't say, I'm done. I'm going back to eating 3 pizzas a day and cake every night and latte frattes in my face. You're not going to do that. You're going to keep eating wisely, because eating wisely is the best way to keep your body performing well, feeling good, and obviously maintain your size. Now, weight matters, as we discussed to begin with. It matters because your joints were only built to carry so much load. Your spinal column was only built to carry so much load. Your organs do not do well with fat surrounding it. Your heart does not do well when your arteries are filled with plaques. So your weight matters. However, what I really wish for you is not only length of life, but true quality of life. So when you combine the wise eating habits with a regular exercise routine that covers the 4 pillars of fitness, the one I'm going to cover next week in the Designing Your Own Workout, that's when you can truly live. That's when you can go stand-up paddleboarding without the fear of pulling your back out or falling in. And usually if you fall in on stand-up paddleboarding, you just fall into water. But I'm surrounded by people who start off with a life of fear. You know, they're afraid to get on a bike. I'm a grown-up. I can't ride a bike. We have millions of grown-ups who ride bikes and they do well. They do better for it. You know, your life might be a little more exciting if you add some athletic adventure, and not just add it here and there at home, but maybe you plan your vacations around athletic adventure. Instead of going shopping and drinking with the girls in Savannah, perhaps you head out to Snowbird, Utah for some snowboarding and, I don't know, apple picking. I don't know what you do in I've been to Snowbird, but you get what I'm saying. There's a whole different kind of life to be lived. And those of us that are out living a life of adventure are no different than you. This weekend, I'm signed up to do a Spartan 5K. And the Spartan obstacle course races are so much fun. And so many people fear those events. I did it last year, a month after finishing chemo, a month. And I'm not superhuman in any way. And when I went through chemo, I got dragged behind a horse. I was so sick and I was so weak. And I showed up to that event pretty weak. It was safe for me to be out there because I knew even if I went really slow, I could conquer the 5K distance. But I laughed and laughed and laughed. I had such a fun time, and I trudged through hip-high water because here in Florida, the trails were flooded, and I had help getting over barricades or walls, and I couldn't lift any of the heavy stuff because I was too weak, but that's okay. Nobody shunned me from society or put a scarlet letter on my back or like, down with her. I still got to keep going, and it was amazing. And then, I've pursued adventure almost every week since, and my life is great for it. Life is short, folks. Life is very, very short, and it's hard to live in a body that you don't feel good about. I was an overweight teen. I was 45 pounds heavier back then than I am today, and it wasn't just that maybe I could do less, but I didn't feel good about me. I didn't like my waist. I didn't like my hips. I was self-conscious. Shopping was a miserable experience, and I was always focused about my weight. And what I found is that focus on my body took my focus off of the really wonderful people I was with and the really wonderful experiences I had access to, because I was too focused on my negative. And so let's get this under control. The exact formula for weight loss works every single time without fail, and it's just science. It's just math. It's certainly not some magician trick that I came up on. It's free. I haven't asked any money from you in exchange for this information. It's just the truth. So if you still need a little more support, if you go to my website, fitzness.com, it's right here on the screen, FITZNESS.com, the exact formula for weight loss. There's an article there. It's always on the cover. And I believe so strongly that this is important for everybody to read that I leave it on my website on the cover, no matter what. And there's also a podcast, an audio podcast I've recorded in the past that you can access there. But I want it for you. I want it bad. I want you to achieve this. And all I ask in return is for you to share your success. I want you to reach out and say, Fitz, I did it. And I'm down 3 pounds, or I'm down 20. Or if you're someone who's underweight right now, you can say the formula worked in reverse, and I'm feeling great about me. So I'm going to stay here just a couple more minutes to answer any questions. If you have any, please use the comments section to share. A reminder, I am a corporate speaker, and companies bring me in. They hire me to come in and do this, help their workforce or their consumers do better and be better. And so if you are in the game of hiring speakers, my mouth is for sale right now, at least talking. Hi, Rodney. Look here, we got Rodney. I love him. Rodney was one of the most fun podcast hosts I've ever been a part of. And Rodney, I'm coming to see your show very soon. I'm super excited about that too. Oh, and Eva Solomon is here. Thank you for the inspiration. Unfortunately, I need to get off a bit. That's okay. Eva, I love her. She's an incredible race director who puts on extraordinary events in Michigan, and I miss her very much. Also, she's beautiful and has gorgeous muscles. Bye, Eva. Rodney, I am doing very well. Yeah, this has been fun. It's nice to see. I have a little eye that shows me how many people have been joining me, but it's nice to see you guys come on up. Mary Moran, I think ideally losing fat, not muscle, is the right way to go. So yeah, you stick with your caloric budget and you make sure the foods that you're consuming are mostly nutritious foods. And then you pursue strength training. And that's how you keep the muscle, is you continue to strength train. I've gained about 6 or 7, somewhere in between there, pounds of muscle since my lowest from chemo. And I'm pretty convinced almost every ounce I put on is muscle. And that's awesome. So you got to work at it. You got to work at it both ways. But I agree, muscle. If you're going to put anything on, make it muscle, lose fat. Any other questions? Any other answers? Well, this has been a whole heck of a lot of fun. Folks, I would love for you to follow me on social media. I'm at Fitzness on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and I have tons of free resources. And not only do I want you to follow me, but what I'd really prefer you do is reach out and say hi. Say, I watched your exact formula for weight loss workshop on LinkedIn, and I want to connect. And if I can do anything for you professionally, let me know. Fitzness.com. That's where all of my resources are. Tons of free resources, and mostly share the brags, guys. Okay, I want all the brags. I want to be able to revel in your success. All right. Well, with that, I'm gonna giddy up. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Oh, wait, hold on. We got one more question. Let's see. Julie Olson, what a beautiful smile she has. Thanks, Fitz. I'll be counting my calories. I lost 50 pounds in 25 weeks training for a triathlon. Now at age 54, I'm in a rut. So calories it is. Yeah, this will go. It works. It works, Julie. And I love that you completed a triathlon. I actually, triathlon, I always add that extra syllable. Maybe it's because I'm from the South. I did one last summer, and I plan to do some this summer as well. In fact, I would love to do one of Eva Solomon's epic races. But yeah, the calorie counting, this is the reality is, as a disciplined athlete, if you have the gumption to train and do all that it takes, swim, bike, run, to train for a triathlon, then you have what it takes to watch what you put in your mouth and just manage those calories. So I feel like you're a slam dunk home run. It's just it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when for you. So stay the course. You can reach out to me weekly and tell me about all you've accomplished, and I'd be thrilled to root you on and cheer for your success. Oh, and then here's Rodney saying, I will have to go back. Yes, you have to go back, Rodney, and watch it from the beginning. And then I want a full book report. Please and thank you. Anyone else have questions before I go? This is a really nice way to access people, although I wish I could have your smiling faces. That's the best part about presenting for live audiences, is I love seeing faces. Thank you, Julie. And hello, Emily. Oh, look here. Emily is one of my former interns. Man, what a smart cookie this one is. She is going all the way. I love you, Emily. I hope you're doing well. We should connect soon. Thank you. I think you're awesome as well. Okay, guys, that's it. I'm going to giddy up. Have a wonderful day, and join me next week when we talk about designing your own workout. Bye.